of the new NBC show, This Is Us. And of course, we're like halfway through the season already, so that we aren't like starting brand new into the show. So we're obviously halfway through the season, so we're at episode 14, I believe, which is Jack Pearson's son. And as you guys know, I've been mentioning this several times over the last few weeks. I've been talking about moving in with my girlfriend. And as you can see, this is her, this is Amy.
Hi.
And I'm really excited to have her on the channel and for you guys here. And she's a very smart, very intelligent person, and also very funny. So I hope you guys see that. So obviously this isn't going to be a superhero show or anything genre related. This is a family drama, so this is different from what I normally talk about on the channel. But This Is Us is honestly one of my favorite shows that's on TV right now. I binge watched it over the holidays. I watched like the first 10 episodes up to the mid-season finale at that point, and I fell in love with the show. And funny enough, there's a bit of a story. A few months back, the two of us went to Entertainment Weekly's Pop Fest in LA back in late October, and as we were waiting in line, sorry, our cat just like ran through and like his tail caught on the cord for a second. So we were waiting in line for one of the events we were gonna go to, and the cast of This Is Us started walking by, and the only person I recognized at the time was Justin Hartley,
and I didn't, which is really upsetting now.
And of course, you guys know me. I'm a huge fan of Smallville, and he played Green Arrow on that show, and he's been my favorite iteration of Green Arrow. And I think he's a better Green Arrow than Stephen Amell is. Because Stephen Amell he's good in the role as Oliver Queen in that show's version of Arrow and Green Arrow. But I think in terms of capturing what the comic book character is of Green Arrow, that's why I love Justin Hartley's performance. So so the cast was walking by, and I managed to snag a picture with him. So of course, this is before I started watching the show, so I didn't really know that he was already like up and coming as like a huge TV star on this hugely successful and critically acclaimed TV show. So I was able to snag a picture with him. She took the picture.
Picture.
And honestly, it was really, I was just geeking out just the fact that I met a guy from Smallville. But now I appreciate it even more because now he's in another one of my favorite shows. So so we're just going to talk about our thoughts on the season so far. Even though this is an episode review of the newest episode, we also, because I haven't reviewed the show episode by episode, I want to give you guys a bit of a recap as our thoughts on the season so far. So Amy, what have been some of your favorite moments so far up until this point?
Favorite moment, Jackson.
Same.
He's my favorite. God, it's hard because I watched them a while ago. Well, this episode, all the flashbacks are definitely my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best parts of the episode to me are always the flashbacks. I like Dr. K.
Oh, he's
I actually don't know how to say his actual name.
yeah, I think we all just call him Dr. K.
I really like him. I thought his backstory was really sad, but I'm
I
glad
really felt that.
we got to know about it.
Yeah.
I really like Randall getting to know his dad.
Me too. And then it's not like a cliche like his dad, like there's more. His dad's a really like warm and loving character, and there's a lot more to him, and finding out that he's bisexual. And,
Yeah, which they haven't really. I like how they kind of brushed over it. Like it wasn't that big
a deal. Yeah, like they didn't like they could have like some shows do, especially with like some of the DC shows. Like when someone comes out as gay or bi or something, they like not to say they shove it in your face, but they really make it like known that they are. And in this show was more of like a subtle thing, and
it doesn't define him. It's just
it doesn't at all. Yeah, that's what I love about the William character. And for those of you guys who watch This Is Us or maybe you're starting to watch the show, he actually was he played a minor character in Marvel's Luke Cage from this past.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he played he was one of the regular attendees of the barbershop that Luke Cage worked at. So, because I remember when I started watching the show, like I recognized him like right away, and I was like, why? Like, it took me a second because in that show he has like a hat. He always wears like a hat and sunglasses. Yeah. So, but for me so far, like in the flashbacks, I love just seeing like the Pearson kids all growing up together. Kevin's a little shit, but he's a kid.
Oh god, yeah. But one thing, I'm sorry.
No, you go.
I want to say right before I forget is the casting. How they cast the children going up, they all look exactly like the people. And Randall's so cute as a little kid.
In a lot of ways, like in terms of like facial features, like the youngest version of Randall that we've seen, he looks a lot like my little brother Justin. Mm-hmm. I think the kids have been great. The girl who plays young Kate, I think she's like really sweet and like whenever like.
Teenage Kate looks a lot like Kate.
Oh, she really does. You see like because the teenage Kate looks like the younger Kate, but she also the younger Kate looks they cast it really well, and especially the guy who plays like teenage Kevin, he looks a lot
exactly
like Justin Hartley. Like the younger one, he's like, okay, it's some blonde kid, he doesn't look exactly like him, but of course like go back like anytime when we were kids, like we don't exactly look like how we did then. So the only people who look exactly the same are Mandy Moore and.
Ooh. I struggle with her character.
Yeah, I feel like they're like a lot.
I like her. I like her acting. I think she's
she's great in the show. And that's obviously with the show. It's obviously these are like flawed people. Like none of these people are perfect.
Jack.
Except for Jack. Mandy Moore, I loved for the first number of episodes, but once they showed us kind of where she is in the present day, that's where like my slow dislike of her character started to come.
His best friend.
Yeah, because as soon as they showed her with Miguel, I'm like, huh? So then obviously I first I thought it was, because I don't know if at that point we knew that Jack was dead.
We didn't.
Yeah, we did.
It was almost left to think like maybe they got divorced or we had no idea.
Yeah, so like when we saw that, and I'm like, at first I was pissed because like at that point I hadn't grown to like Miguel all that much. I mean, there's nothing to like dislike about him.
Care about him.
Yeah, I mean you just know him as Jack's best friend. And you're like, okay. So in the present day, when you see Jack's wife like his best friend, like, oh, that doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right.
Because it's Jack.
Yeah, exactly. And Jack's an amazing character, and Milo Ventimiglia, whatever his name is, I can't even begin to. He's great, and obviously for any of you like genre fans, he played Peter Petrelli in Heroes, and I watched the first few seasons of that. First season especially is flat out amazing. I think that's the show you probably dig. It's superhero-y, but it's not like costumes and capes and stuff. It's like Hayden Panettiere too. She's like it's like him and her kind of like some of the main focus, like in them two, and then Zachary Quinto's character. Like they're all like really great, and that's how Zachary Quinto kind of like took off too. Jack is a character who like he's so unlike the typical father figure in like any show. He is, and he's like even when he is like flawed, he's always trying to do. Right by his kids. He's always trying to like, even in like this most recent episode, like we see like his first like real like fight with Mandy Moore's character and Rebecca. To me, like even though like there was a lot of tension between the two of them, I felt like he was still trying to look out for his kids and look out for his family, not just trying to like, oh hey, I don't want you to do this because I don't agree with you. He's like, hey, like I think you should be here with the kids and not out on tour. That's more or less, or I feel like that's like.
At the same time, though, I think jealousy also took over.
No, yeah, that too. Yeah,
in that moment, that's what the fight was based off of.
The jealousy, yeah.
Which she should have told him.
Yeah, even if even if it was a minor thing, that's something they could have gotten over way before, and it wouldn't have built up into this.
Had she told him, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But if you don't tell someone that, then it seems like you're hiding it from them. Like
exactly.
That's what bothered me.
Like how is Jack supposed to know that there wasn't a thing? If it wasn't that big of a deal, why would she not? Yeah, because again, it just makes it worse. And one of the most heartbreaking things in this newest episode was when she said that Jack was like in her way. I'm just like, okay, that's where I'm.
I think he's gonna die that night.
Yeah, and then I'm also sort of I have like two theories. So my theory is something that we both kind of agree on, because they showed Jack drinking after because they had like hinted that he had like an alcohol abuse problem.
But he got over it.
He got over it, so that's why he's been sober. And now with this, so we're thinking maybe because of this fight with Rebecca that he ends up in a car accident because he gets a DUI, and that's how he ends up dying. I also think that if that's not exactly how he dies, I'm thinking this leads to them divorcing before he dies.
If they do that, I'd be really upset.
Me too, but I'm thinking that's not because of this fight. I don't know. That's one of the things that I'm worried about between the two of them.
I really don't want it to end that way.
Me neither.
But he's gonna die soon, so I don't think they divorce because the kids are that age when he dies. So that'd be a long storyline to play out. Like if they get divorced over one fight, that would not make any sense. I'd be really mad.
And that's one thing I'm thinking about too. Like obviously, so this show was renewed immediately for like a second and a third season. So I'm wondering how much farther can they really go with flashbacks?
I was thinking the same thing because if they tell us how Jack dies in the finale, like I think they're going to, what do they talk about next time with Jack? Because Milo said that he's going to be in the show, but I mean, what other big, huge milestones can happen? They don't have any other kids. Like, I mean, he's going to die, but in between that, what could we possibly see that's not just like everyday family life?
I mean, granted, you do have like 16, 17 years of family life shown in the Pearsons, but it's like, how far can you really go without telling the same thing over and over
Dramatically, what's the cliffhanger going to be next year? That's what I
Yeah.
want to know. Because I think Randall's dad's going to die in the finale, probably.
Yeah, probably. He's getting there.
We're going to find out about Jack. It's probably going to parallel. I think
Yeah.
that's how we're going to find out. But then where do you go from there? Because with the kids, what age they are now, I think there's a lot of stuff you can do. But with the flashbacks, I don't know where you can go from Jack dying. Other than showing us after the fact, like how she moves on and all that. But as far as Jack goes, I don't know where he fits into the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, and that's where it's just like it's tricky because they like set in stone that he died. There's no like, oh, like maybe they fake this. This isn't some like.
We saw his funeral.
Yeah, we saw his funeral. So like, I mean, unless they pull, I really hope they don't pull something of like, oh, he didn't really die.
Oh, I hope not. I didn't.
I don't think they will. I'm just saying because
Yeah.
sometimes shows do that and it like completely ruins like what the show was. And
I don't think so.
but because they kind of like dug themselves into the whole like storytelling, like because you can't tell Jack's story beyond that point. That his story has a finite end. You
Yeah.
can't just like oh, everything's happy. Like no, like he died at this point and you can't go beyond that, which kind of sucks because like for most of us, Jack's our favorite character.
Yeah.
But for me, oddly enough, Justin Hartley's character and Kevin, he hasn't always been my favorite character.
This episode was great for him, though.
I loved this episode with him, just because I feel like his storyline. I mean, it's kind of funny because I see like a lot of like character traits that I saw in his portrayal of Green Arrow in this in the Kevin character, but also you can see there's a real sense of vulnerability because of especially his lack of he doesn't like Miguel. He doesn't really seem to have like any sort of real relationship with his mom.
No.
I mean, they have like almost like no scenes together at all. At least like Kate, like
She's kind of not there that much though. Older. Since we've been back, since
they haven't shown older Manny Moore at all.
Except for tonight or last night.
And it was one of my favorite scenes in this particular episode for me was his interaction with Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Miguel's reminding him, you are Jack Pearson's son, and like when I love you, it reminds me of my best friend. And that was the first time that I liked Miguel in the present day.
See, I still didn't really like him. I felt like it was forced. But I liked that Kevin went to Randall. That's what was big to me. Because he was never there for Randall. He was kind of awful to Randall.
Oh yeah, he treated Randall like I think it was like I don't know because of like him growing up in a time because he kept calling him Webster when he was a kid and I think it's also because like Randall was always treated like more like he was favored more between Jack and Rebecca.
Well, you kind of saw that when they were trying to talk to Kevin and Randall came down and they just completely dropped it. Mm-hmm. And that's why Kevin looked upset. You could see, because obviously no kid wanted to have that conversation with his parents, but he was still kind of hurt. I think that they were like, "Oh, let's go deal with Randall."
Yeah, and again, and that's especially when you have that scene where like Randall's like breaking down, like and teenage Randall when he's breaking down, and you see Kevin just like look at him, he walks by, and then just keeps on walking. So that's where like it's good character development for them because obviously I like Kevin way more in the present day than I did when he was younger. I
do think it's kind of weird how they just jump back into his relationship with his ex-wife. I'm glad I want them. I want to know more about them. But I don't like how last episode it was such a big deal. In this episode, it's like, oh, we're kind of together.
Yeah, no, because the whole thing is like, well, she was dating someone, and I guess now she's not.
Yeah.
Like, that was a little. I feel like that was a little rushed.
It was too easy.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think that there's also so much going on in the show.
Yeah.
That there's also it's just like it's too much time to explain every little detail. I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's not like the biggest complaint I have in the show. Because honestly, other than like certain like things that Rebecca does, I don't have. And then we haven't really talked much about Kate and Toby.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. So what? I don't know, maybe some of the things that you so far haven't loved about the show.
Well, I was kind of in this episode. I felt kind of cheated the way that they made it seem like she was going to cheat on Toby. It was just kind of like. A cheap way to get you to tune in. It was like a cheap cliffhanger because obviously she wasn't going to, and then she just went in and told him off and got kicked out.
Because so
whatever, I don't really care. But I felt like she was actually really hurt when Toby said that they shouldn't get married for a while. Yeah, like she showed it for a second, and then she kind of tried to cover it up. But I think it's definitely gonna be brought up in the next episode.
Now, do you think Toby saying that is a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Toby. You know that. But, I mean, I don't dislike him. I just feel like, I don't know, the way he is with Kate kind of bothers me.
How so?
I don't even know how to describe it. Like, both of them, they're just not, they don't work well together. Like, they don't treat each other well. and then they were broken up. They were barely together for a while. They were broken up, and then all of a sudden they're engaged, and now they're delaying it because you guys barely know each other, and the whole time you've been together, you haven't really gotten along. Like it hasn't been a smooth period for them. It's like they fight in every episode.
Pretty much.
And so it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, they should get married. I'm happy for them. Like I just.
But one thing I did like about Toby is the one episode where we first see Kevin's ex-wife, where like him and Kevin are kind of like rock about the city. So I feel like they had a pretty good dynamic.
Yeah, I actually like Kevin and Toby better than I like Kate and Toby. Like I don't dislike Toby as a character. I dislike Kate and Toby the way that they are.
Yeah, I get it. One thing I also don't love is the way they like jump from like storyline to storyline. Like, especially with Kevin, he was with Olivia and Sloan, and now his ex-wife, and like.
I want him with his ex-wife. I like the whole idea that they were younger. I like the way they did that in the episodes, where it was his birthday party and you find out that that was her. Yeah. The whole time, I thought that was really cute, but I don't like how they got there. Yeah,
it was weird because they try to get you like and like you start to form an attachment to Olivia, and then that ends. And then you start to feel somewhat of an attachment to Sloan, and then that ends, and then...
But you don't really think it's over, and then they kind of, in this episode, I didn't like it. It almost seemed like she was flirting with him or something.
It's weird, because, I don't know, I feel like they aren't handling, like, some of the, secondary characters of the show all that well. Like, obviously, like, the main characters are their focus, but that's where it's like, I don't know, certain things aren't tying up like they should.
And I think once this season is done as a whole, everything will tie up.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that it'll look as a whole. I think if you binge watch every episode,
everything's gonna tie.
It'll work out really well. But it's hard. I'm not used to watching shows week to week. The only show I watch is Grey's Anatomy. So like, when I normally binge shows on Netflix and everything comes together. Yeah. So especially when there's a million storylines, it's hard to keep track of what's going on. Yeah. Especially when we're jumping between younger and older and teenage and baby.
Yeah, that's why for me, because like when I binge watched the first half of the show, like it was so easy for me to pick up on things because like, oh, I just watched it like a couple of hours ago or like a day ago or whatever. But and that's where that is the bit of a struggle because it's, I mean, I'm used to it because I watch all of my shows week to week, sometimes like month to month with all these fucking breaks. But one thing I do like about the show and its storytelling is that, and I do like to going back is it's like. The flashbacks aren't necessarily a cohesive story. Like they tie into what's going on in the present day, because that's where like for any of you guys who watch like Arrow or whatever, they did a similar thing where because like ever since Arrows began, they show the present day and then 5 years prior because he was like stranded on an island for 5 years, and like each season is like the next year he was stranded, or like you think he's stranded. It's the next year of that story. So it's like present day and then 5 years prior, present day 5 years prior. So that's like. Supposed to be more of like a cohesive story, whereas like this is a similar concept, but they don't do it exactly the same. Whereas it's like they jump back wherever they feel comfortable with. Like that's why you see like all the different ages of Kate and Kevin and them. Because one of the things I'm always curious about is like how are they gonna? I mean, they probably will. Are they gonna show like Rebecca and Miguel getting together?
I think so. I think that'll be next season. I think they're gonna finish the season with Jack dying. Next season we're going to see how they grieve and how she gets closer to Miguel. And I think, Miguel just got divorced and he's kind of starting to move on, but I think what's going to happen is he's not going to move on until Rebecca's single, which is going to bother me. The whole thing's going to bother me. It's going to be hard for me to watch because I love Jack. He's my favorite character. But, so it's going to be hard. I hope that it takes them a while to get together, but I'm kind of worried that they're going to, bond over their grief. Yeah. And I'm really hoping it's something years later. But it seems like with his relationship with Kevin that they've known each other, as a stepfather, they've known each other for a long time. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's going to make it harder for me to like Rebecca. Because I like her most of the time, but she's definitely the most flawed out of the relationship of her and Jack.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
She's, I'd say, selfish.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Whereas, there are a lot of episodes where they do show her as a caring mom. And,
oh yeah.
All those things. We should probably get wrap up here in a few minutes. We almost 20 minutes in. I trust these videos will probably be a lot shorter soon. But overall, just this. What did overall thoughts on this episode? What you're looking forward to in the next couple of episodes?
I really want to know how Jack died. I mean, that's the number one thing.
I hate that they teased us with that in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they weren't gonna tell us, but I was like waiting for it, when they talked about it with Toby and Kate.
Favorite part about this episode was Kevin going to help Randall.
Me too.
Because I think that.
And then giving up his like opening night for his
and
new
he
play.
said because he's Jack Pearson's son, he's thinking about what his dad would do, and that's exactly what his dad would do.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you?
I'm really looking forward to see more, like, seeing Randall and Kevin's relationship, like, get better, because Randall's under a lot of stress because of the whole job situation and William and everything. So that's where, like, I want Randall to, he's gonna be going through a lot in the next few episodes, doing William and everything.
It's only gonna get worse.
Yeah, so I'm hoping Kevin's there for him, because Kevin's been kind of just, like, around, he hasn't really been there for him. That's where I'm hoping, like, it's starting with this episode, like, they'll bond more, and I don't know, I'm just hoping that everyone ends up happy.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think with that said, that's going to be it for our first review of the show. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to see more of this, let us know in the comment section below. You know, thank you, Amy, for coming to the channel. Everyone, several people have been excited for you. And
I live here, so.
Yeah, well, this is her apartment, her apartment that I'm moving into. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like, give this video a thumbs up. Let us know what you guys think of this so far. And yeah, that's going to be it from us. And until next time, have a good one.